Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome in if this is your first time being here. My name is Melissa. This is Empowered Gems Tarot, and in today's reading, we're going to be looking into whether or not you and your person will reconcile. So this is meant for any of you guys out there that are in like a no contact situation or just in a situation where you've been separate from this person. Low to no contact, I guess, depending on your circumstances. And so what I'm going to do in this reading is I'm going to first take a look at the current energy of the situation as it stands today, and then we'll take a look at the potential of reconciliation and when that may potentially happen, depending on what comes through in the reading. Remember that this is a general collective reading on YouTube, so messages will vary in how specifically that they may resonate with each individual viewer out there. As a best practice, if anything ever feels confusing or just doesn't really feel like it fits your situation as you know it to be, just release it, let it go. Understand the message might be for somebody else out there in the collective who also chose the same reading as you. If you guys want a more personalized look into your own energy, a personal reading can be a great way to get that. If you were interested in booking one with me, the link to my website is in the description box down below. Okay, so with all of that being said, now we will go ahead and get into your reading selection. And we have a choice between 3 to choose from today. If you're drawn to reading 1, we're going to be working with the Streetwise Spirit Tarot and this pink rhodochrosite heart. If you're drawn to reading number 2, we're going to be working with the 90s Tarot and some spirit quartz. And if you're drawn to reading number 3, we're going to be working with the Field Tarot and some rose quartz. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath. Think about this question. Will you reconcile with the person on your mind? Go ahead and select the crystal or deck that you're feeling the most intuitively connected to. Once you've made your choice, you can scroll down to the description box below to locate the timestamp that will skip you ahead to your chosen reading. See you there. Hey group 1, welcome to your reading. If you guys were drawn to the Streetwise Spirit Tarot and this pink rhodochrosite heart, this is going to be your message. And today we're going to be looking into whether or not you and the person on your mind will reconnect or reconcile. So I'm going to start by looking at these pre-shuffled oracle cards. And what we're going to be digging into here is the current state of the connection, because this will kind of help us to, number 1, understand if you're at the right reading. So like if the energy that I'm playing out here for you doesn't feel familiar, then this may not be your pile. But also it's going to help us to understand the context leading up to any potential reconciliation energy. So let's go ahead and take a peek at the joining energy to start us off. So we've got the 9 of Pentacles. This says material harvest. You, my viewer, we do have the energy of pessimism coming through. This person has overstimulated. Okay. And then again, for you, my viewer, we do have you never showed up, absent effort, emotionally unavailable, and done trying. And then this person, whoop. We have soul come back online, energy return, alignment, and spiritual reset. Okay. Keep in mind, the energies can be flipped, so just bear that in mind as you're viewing the reading. You may find that you resonate more with the other side, and that's totally normal, but for the purposes of how I've planned, I'm going to read this as your energy, my viewer, okay? All right, so what's the overall energy here, group 1? Well, with this 9 of Pentacles joining you, I definitely feel like both people in this connection at this particular moment in time are really more so focused on their independence, right? The 9 of Pentacles is when we are focused on things that maybe are more material in nature, but essentially it's like the card of independent self-sufficiency, where we're like, we don't really need anyone else to fulfill us or to accompany us or to help us. We're like totally content with everything we have, right? Like we have maybe worked really hard, maybe the two of you work together. The 9 of Pentacles, especially with it saying material harvest, it feels like there is something here around bearing fruit or enjoying like the fruits of hard work that you've put in. And so it's a very vibrant energy that I get between you. Like it's a very independent energy that I get between you. And maybe that's been a theme in this connection, is reliability and consistency. Like people, how do I say? It's like feeling confident on your own outside of the connection. And maybe that's something that both people have been working on. So you guys are in no contact. I see both people kind of working on their own blessings at this time. You guys, my viewer, are not showing up in the best headspace as it pertains to this connection. It feels like you guys are not really seeing the best in this person or not really seeing the best in the situation. And I feel like there's this sense of like, they were not reliable. They were not dependable. They were not emotionally available or someone that really showed up for you in the way that you were looking for. And so when it comes to this person, I think you guys are in a pretty negative headspace about them and probably not feeling the most optimistic when it comes to reconciliation or repair in this situation. Okay. Now, your person with overstimulated here, it's kind of interesting, right? Because they're in a space of maybe they've been doing too much from their perspective. It's interesting, right? Because like, I feel like for you guys, it seems like this person hasn't been enough, right? Like they haven't done enough. They haven't been consistent. They haven't been reliable. It feels like maybe you guys have tried really hard to show up well with this person, but it's like it never went anywhere or you never got reciprocity, right? But this person also feels like they've been doing too much. And so I don't know if from their perspective, they do feel like they gave you a lot. And maybe from your perspective, it wasn't enough or reciprocal. Or maybe this person just kind of has too much other stuff going on in their life. Like they're in too many things. They're overstimulated. It says your vagus nerve is alerting you. How are you overdoing it? Too much of something is affecting you or this situation to burn out. And so it's just kind of making me wonder if this person was not able to show up well with you because of this overstimulation. Like maybe they've been doing too much in their personal life. Maybe there's been too much going on with work or other matters, right? And they kind of crashed out when it came to you and your situation with them. So right now, as you guys are in separation, I do feel like this person is working on coming back to center, right? Working on returning their own energy back to them and rebalancing and trying to come into some sort of alignment and reset energy. I don't feel at this time that they're like overly upset. Like I definitely feel like you guys are more focused on like what went wrong here and reflecting on, or feeling through some frustrations that you have had with this person. I think that they right now are like just so overstimulated and have so much going on that they just need to kind of pull back and take this opportunity to recenter themselves before they can even like reflect on your situation. Okay. So let's get into it next, group one, and just see if reconciliation is even on the table here based on the current moment. So is reconciliation likely, Spirit, between group one and this person? We do have the Queen of Swords. So if it does come, it's not going to come without some clear standards and communication, okay? Show me the energy of my viewers, please, Spirit. We have the Six of Pentacles. And show me the energy of this person when it comes to reconciliation in the future, please, Spirit. Ooh, the King of Pentacles. Okay. I do feel with this Two of Wands, like this person is like planning something or like looking at things. Look how he's kind of looking at memories or photos in a photo album. Like your person could be somebody who's really nostalgic and maybe they're kind of reflecting on the past or and trying to decide like how they want to move forward with you in the future. Let's pull some clarifiers and then we'll get into more detail about this. I do kind of feel like it's possible. Let's see though. Will reconciliation be likely? Please, Spirit. Between group one and this person. I feel like it can only come when this person is in a centered, calm space because I'm looking at this King of Pentacles and he does look very relaxed sitting in his chair, right? Which is not the place that your person is in right now, but I think they're trying to kind of get back to that place. All right, so we do have the energy of secrets and retreats. Okay. One moment. We have finances. So more of that financial energy coming through here. And then we do have twin flame, and we do have loyal, passion for you, and honesty. So yeah, I do feel like this person does want to come back, you guys. I do feel like reconciliation is possible between the two of you. And again, we'll build more into the message here. But I think that what Spirit is kind of saying is that before reconciliation can happen, you guys need to kind of take this space, right? You guys are still like not in the best, most positive mindset when it comes to this person. I feel like my viewers, like you guys seem to be really overly, not overly, but I think you're still kind of fixating on the past and what went wrong. And it's like you're having a really hard time seeing the positives in this person and the positives in the situation. And maybe that's completely justifiable, right? Whereas this person, they're overstimulated. They've got a lot going on in their life, and they're just trying to sort of reset themselves right now. I don't think they have bad intentions with you, because they're showing up here as being loyal, right? They have a passion for you. They want to be honest with you about something. But I get the sense that Spirit is saying this reconciliation cannot happen until both of you guys get to a space of being reset. So we've got this retreat energy in the center. Maybe there's like an opportunity here for the two of you coming up to kind of travel or to experience new connections for a little while, or kind of have new experiences with each other, or outside of the connection rather. Because of the Queen of Swords and secrets, there's something here where like communication needs to happen, but I feel like both people may not be fully ready to have that conversation, right? There's a joining energy around this reconciliation where both people are not ready to be honest, or not really ready to speak their truth. And the Queen of Swords is all about speaking truth and discernment and setting clear boundaries, right? And so I kind of feel like they're saying we're going to get a timeline for you guys as well to kind of see like when this could potentially come into play for you. But I just feel like we're getting like kind of a general energy of it can happen, but first, this is what you both need to be moving through. I feel like there's something about you, my viewer, with this twin flame energy that I think that you acted like a mirror for your person, and maybe vice versa for some of you. But we have this King of Pentacles here. And the King of Pentacles is somebody who represents reliability, dependability, stability, honoring their commitments, being supportive. Like in a romantic sense, they will show up and they want to be committed. They want to be married. If they're at work, they're really good in business. They follow through. They're stable, right? And I feel like one of the reasons why you guys probably stepped away from this person is because they weren't present for you in the way that you needed. With this Two of Wands, they were kind of one foot in, one foot out. And I think a lot of that had to do with whatever was going on with them, where they had just like too much going on and they didn't really know how to handle it. And so with the Twin Flame card coming up for them, I think that you guys really acted as a mirror to kind of reflect back to this person where they were not showing up sufficiently, right? Where they were not being reliable, not being dependable, or whatever the case was. And so then for you guys, I feel like the lesson here is around reciprocity with the Six of Pentacles. I think that your person wants to come back to you when they're in a more stable place. And I think for you, when they come back to you, your goal is to be a little bit more measured in how much you give to them. Because I think a really big part of the problem that I'm seeing here is that you guys were probably giving too much to this person and it was not balanced. Okay. Now, the Six of Pentacles talks about balance and reciprocity. It can also talk about giving a gift. We have this tie into finances here. So maybe there's something about money that is connecting you guys the next time you meet, or again, maybe you guys work with this person or have a business or something like that, a business exchange. But like, the whole point is, I think when you guys do come back together, when the time is right for it, you guys are going to be showing up in a much more measured energy with this person. You're not overgiving, because I think you kind of learned that maybe this person was not somebody that you could be super generous with. Okay, so let's continue. Group 1. Will they reconcile, Spirit, please? What's the energy around this? It looks like in the short term it's a no, but I don't think that it's a never. I feel like Spirit is kind of saying like certain things have to happen with each of you individually with the Nine of Pentacles before you can come back together in a clear and healthy way with that Queen of Swords. Let's hold on a second. Let's get the joining energy. Will they reconcile, please, Spirit? Self-care, yeah. I think right now Spirit is saying you both need to work on yourselves. You both need to kind of step away from the situation, take a break, take a rest, clear your energetic field first. You guys, I think, really need to work on shedding and releasing the disappointment, the frustration, the negative feelings that you have toward this person. This person needs to get themselves back to center, right? So there's a separation energy that's showing up here more than like a reconciliation, in my opinion. Let's keep going. We have second chance. This relationship deserves a second chance. I think that's showing up for you. Let's see. And then we have twin flame coming up again. That's so interesting. Wow, you guys. Yeah, I mean, I think that you guys both really learned a lot from each other. I feel like you guys really, like, I don't want to say freak this person out, but the overstimulation, I think, is coming from the intensity that this person felt in the connection with you, right? This twin flame card is coming up twice. And as I was mentioning earlier, a twin flame energy is like a really strong mirror where we're like confronted sometimes with very, very uncomfortable truths about ourselves, about our behaviors, the way we show up, the way we interact, things that we need to heal or things that we need to work on. And I think it really messed with your person's head. And so even if they aren't the ones that initiated the separation that you guys are in, I think that they really needed it so they could kind of pull themselves back to center and conduct some self-reflection on the things that triggered them. I think that you guys are definitely showing up as being open to a second chance, right? Like open to maybe trying things again, but with you being able to show up a little bit differently. I feel like when you guys do eventually reconnect with this person, your energy is much more, like I was saying, measured. Maybe it's like work focused or financial focused, but it's like the Six of Pentacles is kind of a breadcrumb, right? It's like, and it doesn't mean it's going to be like that forever, right? But it kind of feels like this person needs to prove to you that they can be reliable, dependable, and stable, someone that you can count on. And I feel like until they can do that, you guys need to kind of work on not over giving beyond what is appropriate, right? Like being a little bit more cautious the next time around before you just like are super, super generous with your time, effort, energy, and resources with this person. Okay. So we're going to just do one more deck and then we'll take a look at a timeline around when you guys may potentially reconnect with them. And look, as I'm shuffling, I do feel like it's going to happen. I just feel like it's going to take a little time. So let's see. Will they reconcile, Spirit? What's the joining energy, please? We have collaboration and work together. Yeah, I feel like you guys may work together or have some sort of maybe a co-parenting situation or joint business venture. Show me the energy of my viewers. We have go with the flow. I love that for you. Yeah, it's just about kind of taking it one day at a time and feeling your way through it, you know? Show me this person and their energy. Holding back. Yeah, they're not ready, but look, oh, you guys. Maybe this person's trash. I don't know, but so I shouldn't be like, oh, but they want to have a conversation with you. This person, and it's so interesting because the whole entire time that I've been doing your reading, I've been feeling this tickle in my throat. And you guys remember had the Queen of Swords in the center. So it's like, there is a conversation that the two of you really need to have. And I feel like this person is holding back for now because they're trying to get themselves in a more centered and stable space before they address you. But there's a deep conversation brewing underneath of this, and they do want to talk to you. I feel like they definitely want to make things right. Remember, we have this energy here of loyalty, right? They want to be honest with you. They do feel a sense of loyalty to you. So even if you guys didn't feel that so much in their behavior before, they do feel that with the King of Pentacles. I feel like your person may have some like Taurus energy or Leo energy in their chart. I don't know. Well, we all have all the signs, but maybe there are prominent placements there. So answer the question, will you reconcile? I do feel like the answer is yes. But I feel like Spirit is saying it's going to come after you guys both take some space to kind of reset, recenter, reflect on what you've learned, right? And this person specifically, I think, wants to talk to you, but they want to do it when they're in a more stable place and they're able to be more grounded. And I think for you guys with this go with the flow, this is a really good energy because it just shows like you're not trying to control the situation. You're kind of releasing. It's like about releasing expectation of a specific outcome, right? You're open to talking. You're open to a second chance. But it's like understanding that you need to go about it a lot differently than you did before, okay? So let's see when this may happen. Again, this is a general reading, so this could be different for all of you, but ooh, you know what I'm going to do? Let's do a little mini pick a card for this. We'll do 3 and we'll see, you can pick the one that resonates with you the most and then that'll be your timeline, okay? So let's see. When will they reconcile? Group 1. When will they reconcile? Group 2. And then group 3 for this pile. Let me know if you guys like this because I can do more of that. I feel like that's the answer for group 3. So, all right. So group 1, you guys have divine timing, which makes a lot of sense. That's kind of like the core message that I was really getting within this spread. There really isn't maybe a set timing. It's just going to depend on when the both of you do the work and you're ready to come back together in a better space, because that's kind of the energy of twin flames, right? Like it holds up a mirror and pushes you to heal parts of yourself, to acknowledge parts of yourself that are difficult to acknowledge. And the goal is to become more aware of those things so that if you decide to come back together, you can show up as a better and different version of yourself than you were before. Group 2, we do have Scorpio season. So for some of you, it could be soon, right? Because I think we're currently in Scorpio season as I'm uploading this reading. And then for group 3, we have holidays. So that could be like near future holidays. We are heading into like November, December holidays. I know in America, there will be a lot of holidays happening here around that time. But this could really connect to any significant holiday for you guys at any time of the year, okay? So Cancer season was at the bottom of the deck. So maybe for some of you, it's more like summertime, summer season holidays. Take it as it resonates for you. But this is what I'm seeing, group 1. Comment below and let me know kind of what's been going on between you and this person. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next reading really soon. Bye. Hey, group number 2, welcome to your reading. If you guys were drawn to the 90s tarot deck and this spirit quartz, this will be your message. And so today we're going to be looking into, will you reconcile? Will you reconnect with the person on your mind? So let's go ahead and jump in. I'm going to begin by looking at the current energy of this connection. If this piece resonates with you, then you'll probably know that you're in the right reading. If not, you may need to choose a different reading. But this will kind of help us to understand the context of your situation and to see like where things could be headed with reconciliation moving forward. So the joining energy between you at this time, we do have the 4 of Wands. This says foundation and achievements. It's a beautiful energy. For you, my viewer, we have individuality. For your person, we have achievement. Kind of interesting that that's like connected here. For you, my viewer, we have muted, not moved on. Okay. Hiding feelings, fake calm, and still hurting. Okay, let me move this out of the way. Okay, and then for your person, we've got used, then discarded, thrown away, devalued, and emotional trash. All right. Let's take a look at this energy, group 2. So this is kind of interesting because I feel like, oh, sorry, my hair is like, it's a hot mess right now. Sorry for that. So It's really interesting, you guys, because I feel like you and this person have this really beautiful connecting energy together. Like, this is the energy of home and family and children and like celebration, belonging, right? So I feel like if any of those themes resonate with you, this is definitely your reading, right? Foundation and achievements leads me to believe that the two of you have built something really beautiful together. We have this beautiful rainbow. This is the Four of Wands, but it really does kind of remind me of Ten of Cups imagery. So it's possible that you guys have a family with this person, or maybe you're asking me about a family member in this reading. But if that doesn't resonate with you, there's this foundation and success that I feel is joining and connecting the two of you that you've built together. Potentially around those themes of home and family, but it could be anything connected to that, or belonging, or anything, friendship, whatever. I feel like this person is really clinging to the achievement piece of this. This says you've done the work, you will be seeing the fruits of your labor flourish right before your eyes. So it's like they're very connected to like the achievement or the success that they have achieved with you through whatever the status of your connection is. But then they also kind of have this energy of feeling like they've been used or discarded, or they've been devalued or thrown away in some capacity. It's almost like, you threw me away. Like, we built this beautiful harmony together. We built this family together, and I'm so proud of it. But like, you tossed me to the side, right? If we take a look at this, you can see that she's like looking in the, what does this say? I don't really know what that says, but she's like looking at these like letters and photos, and I don't know. It's like there's kind of this nostalgia that I get from this, and this pride that this person holds in whatever you've built together, and then just feeling like they've been tossed to the side. It's been thrown away. Whereas for you, my viewer, you guys have this energy of individuality. This says, if be an individual, too much of the same gets boring, unique, different, and abstract. I think that you guys are kind of in a place right now in this situation where you just want to be able to figure out who you are as a person, right? Explore your own identity outside of this connection. And it feels a lot like you and this person like were married before, or had a family or kids, or were in a committed relationship of some kind, where maybe there was like a very strong foundation that the two of you built up together, right? And it seems like you, my viewer, maybe outgrew that, or maybe you were getting bored of it, or maybe it was like too much of the same, and there were certain aspects of yourself that you wanted to explore outside of this person and this connection. And I see you guys kind of still, like, you're enjoying that experience, but I think that you are still not fully moved on from it. This is saying hiding feelings, fake calm, and still hurting. So I think you're still going through the motions. I think you are genuinely exploring this individuality and trying to enjoy that experience. But there's definitely still a sense that you're not fully disconnected from this person or fully moved on from it yet. I do think you guys are in a better space than they are, to be frank. And also, I forgot to mention this, you may find these energies are flipped as well. So just keep that in mind as you are going through the reading. So now that we have looked at the overall energy of the current situation as it stands today, let's see if reconciliation is likely between the two of you, and if so, what that may look like. Okay. So the joining energy at this time. Joining energy. We have the Five of Cups. Okay. Show me the energy of my viewers. What about? Ooh, okay. We have the Eight of Wands. Okay. And then the energy of this person. Ace of Wands. And then they have the Five of Pentacles with the Grinch, you know. You guys, I don't think your person's really in the best place as it pertains to this connection. They're kind of Scroogey right now. Maybe it's justified. I don't know. You know your situation better than me, but they're kind of in a place where they're not in the best headspace. They definitely feel left out in the cold, discarded, like ostracized by you. If we think of the story of the Grinch, like especially as it's depicted in this specific version of the movie, remember how he, as a very young child, expresses his love to Martha May, and then she kind of rejects him in front of all the other kids, and then everybody makes fun of him, and then they make fun of him for being like weird and being green or whatever. And so then he just like takes that and just shuts himself away in the mountain and becomes this Grinch, this like negative energy. And a lot of that comes from like low self-worth, right? He was bullied. He was like made to feel that he wasn't worthy in that moment, and it drove him to be this kind of version of who he was. And so I'm not saying you guys did anything that extreme to this person, but it's just to kind of illustrate the current mindset that they have, right? Their self-worth has been deeply affected by what transpired between the two of you. Okay, let's continue. Let's get some clarifiers, and then I'll kind of outline what's happening here. Also, Gwen Stefani, I feel like what I think of her, it's so funny. I was literally just watching a podcast about her. I'm not even going to go into what the podcast was about because I'm sure you guys do not want to know, but I was watching this deep dive about her. And when I think of her in this era of No Doubt, I think of all the breakup songs, right? Like Don't Speak, for instance. So that's kind of like where I feel this person is at. Like they are just sad. Even though we have the Ace of Wands here. So we'll get to that in a minute. So, okay, Spirit, tell us a little bit more about will they reconcile? So we've got overthinking in the center. Show me the energy of my viewers. We have false connection. Show me the energy of this person. Ooh, okay, so we've got third party and we have manipulation as well with unawakened. That's really interesting. So they're upset, but they have a third party energy on their side of the reading. That's kind of intriguing to me. Let's unpack it. Okay. Maybe they're upset over third party energy on your side. I don't know. Take it as it resonates with you. So what I kind of feel, you guys, with this Five of Cups is I feel like the both of you coming up here, it's like there's still this emphasis on what went wrong in this connection, the disappointments. You know, the Five of Cups is when we're not really seeing the positive in a situation. We're more focused on what went wrong versus what's salvageable. And in this particular version of the Five of Cups, this is from Jurassic Park. This is the scene where like the T-Rex is coming out and attacking everybody for the first time in the movie, right? And so to me, metaphorically, this kind of symbolizes some sort of destruction, some sort of massive destruction or disappointment that happened in this connection that both of you, I think, are still very much thinking about, fixated on, or experiencing a lot of sleepless nights, or maybe even feeling triggered over. Okay. So that is still very much there between the two of you as it pertains to this question. Now, you guys have the Eight of Wands, which this energy feels very similar to this individuality, right? And this is Ace Ventura. I think this is is it Pet Detective? I can't remember. So again, I think that you guys are kind of still in this energy of like fun, excitement, maybe like joking or trying to make this person laugh or just genuinely like enjoying your life. I feel like a lot of you may be putting on this front, right? Like this comedic or fun sort of energetic front that everything is okay, to kind of bury the intensity that you still feel from whatever happened in this situation. And with false connection, this talks about lessons and not a divine connection. I don't really believe in the concept of like a false connection, but what I do kind of feel for you guys is that there's a lesson that you learned through this person and that you may still be learning through this person. Okay, there may have been like a rejection here. It's like maybe you guys are rejecting them coming up, but there was definitely something that you guys had to learn about yourselves as an individual through experiencing this connection with this person. Now for them, they're in their breakup era, listening to Gwen Stefani, No Doubt songs. I don't know. I think this person with the Ace of Wands may also be harboring a lot of anger in this situation. I know a lot of times in tarot, we talk about the Ace of Wands being like sexual chemistry, desire, passion, and it totally is. It's also impulsivity, but it can also be anger. And again, when I'm thinking of this era of Gwen, like when I think about that song, Don't Speak, yes, she's sad, but she's also kind of angry in that song. And that's kind of the vibe that I feel about this person at this time. Okay, we have manipulation, controlling, and toxic. And then we also have third party, confusion, soul contract, and Mercury retrograde. So maybe in this connection, there was some sort of a third party interference. It doesn't have to mean cheating. Maybe it does for some. But like third party can be anyone or anything affecting the connection, something external. And when I look at this card, that's very much the vibe, right? The T-Rex, it symbolizes something external to you and destructive that came in and just like ripped you guys apart or caused this like really big problem here. And I feel like with your person, they're still kind of in their head are trying to kind of control the narrative around how it went down. And maybe for some of you, like if they're the ones that had a third party or like they cheated or something like that, I want to say I think it comes from low self-worth, but I feel like they're kind of telling themselves this story that they were the victim all along, even if they were the ones that kind of crashed everything out, you know? So let's continue. What else can you tell us about reconciliation, please, Spirit? Will they reconcile? Joining energy. Balance. One person is giving too much in this relationship. Show me the energy of my viewer. Different pages. You and this person don't share the same vision. Yeah, I have to be honest with you guys. I'm leaning toward a no. Like, I don't think that you're going to reconcile with this person. Decision. It's time to decide about this relationship. So it's like, if you guys are in limbo with them right now, we do have strictly sexual. So there could be those sexual feelings there for you as well. I feel like if you guys were to reconcile, it's going to be coming from this person, because I feel like you guys, even though you are still kind of affected by it, largely speaking, I feel like you recognize that there was like a lesson in this connection. I do feel like you're kind of energetically rejecting it, and you are acknowledging that the two of you are not on the same page, and you're kind of moving into your own space, pursuing other things, exploring who you are as a person outside of this connection. Right? And then with them, they're kind of still in limbo. This says it's time to decide about this relationship, and with the third party energy. So there may be more than one person, right? Or something else that they have to choose between that and you, or them and you. And they're very, I think, sexually attracted to you. But I think they're also experiencing a lot of frustration and guilt and feeling like they've been cast to the side and like low self-worth and all this stuff. But I do still feel them very strongly pulled to you with this Ace of Wands. Maybe they're trying to kind of tame impulses at this time as well, where they would just like to reach out, but they're trying not to do that. They're trying to maintain control right now. Whereas you guys have this Eight of Wands, like he's kind of facing away from, you know what I mean? He's kind of facing external. This energy where Gwen is, it's almost like she's in it, but she's looking off at this third party thing, right? So I think if you guys do reconnect, I do feel like it's going to probably come from them, but let's keep going. We're going to pull from one more deck, and then we'll take a look at when it's likely to happen. Okay, so let's continue. Group 2. Will they reconcile? And if so, what will this look like? The joining energy, please, Spirit. We have chivalry. Okay. We have ghost. Yeah, you guys are not into it. I don't think you want to. And then we have collaborate and work together. Yeah, see, they still kind of have this energy, but they're holding back. They still have this energy of wanting to, they're still kind of energetically tethered to you guys in a way. And I just feel like you guys aren't really into it anymore. Like you're on different pages. You're not, it's like an avoidant energy with ghosting where like you don't really want to have to deal with it right now. And they are still kind of drawn to you and maybe thinking like we could work it out, right? We could work it out, but I have to make a decision about if I want to do that or not. We do have this message of chivalry joining. So the one thing that I will say is that if you guys do come back together, there would have to be like from both perspectives, there would have to be kind of like this kindness and this courteous energy that's like brought into it. When I think of chivalry, I think of just like treating the other person well, doing the right thing, showing up in a very gallant, respectable way for the other person. And we have balance here. So like both people, I think, would have to be on the same page when it comes to how they're extending chivalry and grace to the other person in order for it to work out. But are you guys going to reconcile? As the energy stands today, it feels like a no. It does feel like if you were to, it would have to come from this person. But they're still kind of in the space of decision, like having to decide whether or not they want to, or do they need to focus on other things external to this connection. So what I am going to do, group 3, to close us out, I kind of came up with this on the fly in group 1. We're going to use my empowered timing oracle to get a time frame as to when you guys could reconnect as the energy stands today, but I'm going to do a little mini pick a card. So we'll do card 1, 2, and 3. You will pick the one that you're the most drawn to, and then that will be your answer. Okay. So will they reconcile, please, Spirit, with group 2's person? So we have card 1. We have card 2. And then we have card 3. Okay. So go ahead and pick the one that you feel the most drawn to. Pause the video if you need a minute, and let's go ahead and see what your timing may look like. Okay, so for card 1, we do have Scorpio season. As I'm uploading this video, we are in Scorpio season because this could be like pretty soon to come. Card 2, we have the holidays. Interesting. So that could be any upcoming holiday, near future state, or really any holiday of significance in the future. Card 3, we have when you least expect. Okay. Yeah, with that Ace of Wands, I wouldn't be surprised if this person kind of impulsively reached out to you, group 2. It actually feels like it could be pretty soon for all 3 groups. And we have January at the bottom of the deck. So there's kind of that undertone of the next few months coming up with this group when it comes to reconciliation. So this is what I see, group 2. I hope this gave you the clarity that you were looking for. Comment below and let me know what has been happening with you and your person. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next reading really soon. Bye. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your reading. If you guys were drawn to the Field Tarot and this rose quartz, this will be your message. And today we're going to be looking into, will you and your person reconcile? So I'm going to kick off this reading by looking at the overall energy of the situation right now. So if this resonates with you, that's a sign that you're at the right reading, but it's also going to allow us to get some specific context as to better inform us as to whether or not the two of you will reconnect. So let's go ahead and jump in to the joining energies. So we've got the 4, this is the 4 of Pentacles, I believe, firm foundation. Your energy, we have Assault, okay. Your person's energy, we have the Provider. Your energy, we have It's Not Me, It's Trauma. Triggering, protection, projection, inner wounds. Their energy, we have What If. Regret, overanalyzing, imagined futures. Okay, group 3. So what is the current state of this connection? All right. There's kind of this joining energy between you at this time of like this desire for stability. And with the words firm foundation, this makes me think about like the foundation of this connection is under question at this particular moment in time. I feel like this is really core to maybe why you guys are not in contact at this time, because I feel like there's something about it that wasn't stable Okay, and we're going to get into this because I'm seeing that a little in the dynamic. The other thing that I'm going to say is these energies can also be flipped, right? So if you find yourself as the viewer resonating more here, just interpret it that way. I just kind of designed it with the intention for this to be the viewer and this to be your person. So just take it as it resonates with you. But there's something about the stability of this connection that's been called into question here. And the Four of Pentacles, it's an energy where it's almost, I heard stingy. It can be that, but it's also this energy of like fear-based clinging to something, right? Whether we're kind of closed off to vulnerability because we're afraid to open up, or we're kind of anxious and we're clinging to something. A lot of times it can show up in my readings as like attachment stuff, like avoidant attachment, anxious attachment, things like that. So I feel like that could potentially be something at play in this connection too. Take it as it resonates with you. But the foundation of this connection was, I think, a big part of the reason for the split. Now, you, my viewer, I think are very triggered by this person, right? And this card literally talks about it. It's not me, it's trauma, triggering projection and inner wounds, okay? And so there's something about this situation that is pulling up trauma for you, or that is pulling up some inner wounds for you, maybe childhood stuff for some of you. You're very activated by this person. And so I think it's really important for you, my viewer, to kind of look at that, right? If you, maybe you're already aware of it, right? But there's an energy of like, the way that you showed up in this connection is due to healing work that needs to be done, or due to triggering that's happening. And with the Salt being here, it says this situation is being approached too aggressively. So I'm wondering if for you, my viewer, there's like a tendency to like lash out here, or maybe this is what you experienced from this person, right? Where it's like something about the energy, whether they intended it to be or not, felt aggressive and it triggered you, right? So again, take it as it resonates with you. There's a lot of different ways that you can interpret that. Now you, for your person, they have provider energy. This says is stable and enjoys gift giving, doesn't mind paying for others accordingly, respects hard work and effort. So this person is in the energy of being a provider. So it's like they have this desire for stability. They want to provide, but then like for you, but they also have this what if energy. Like there's something about the way that they showed up foundationally for you. Maybe they weren't in this provider energy. I don't know, but they have a lot of regrets. And they're over analyzing something. And I think they're kind of looking in the mirror and wishing for a different outcome. Maybe they just don't feel good about the way that they showed up in this situation. Okay, so let's keep going. We're going to now look into whether or not you guys will reconnect. So let's see. Yeah, like even when I'm taking a look here, right, there's like this argumentative energy coming up. And so like there's this memory of that, and you can see it kind of being reenacted here, where like someone is really activated and upset, and then this person is kind of like fearful or feeling like this is a lot, right? Or on the flip side, maybe somebody's getting angry, and maybe it's not an aggressive type of anger, but they're just angry, but it's triggering this person. It feels similar to whatever was experienced in the past, even though it's different. Does that make sense? That's kind of what projection is, where it's like you might be projecting something, and not saying you specifically, my viewer, maybe you are, but projection is like when we're projecting something onto somebody else from the past, maybe because it feels familiar, but it is not actually the same. Okay. So Spirit, for group 3, will they reconcile with their person? Will they reconcile with their person? Joining energy. We have the 5 of Cups. Show me the energy of my viewer. We have the Hermit. Show me the energy of this person. The World. Wow. Okay, I'm going to pull some clarifiers and then we'll kind of dig into this a bit more. I have some initial thoughts, but let's take a peek. Will they reconcile, group 3? Yeah, your person has a lot of regrets, you guys. I feel like they really wanted to be a source of stability and support for you. And they're really kind of in their head overanalyzing what happened here. Okay. So the joining energy, we have clingy, which is really interesting because that's kind of what I was getting at with that 4 of Pentacles, right? Like, I don't think either one of you have fully let it go yet. We have healing. That's so beautiful, you guys. So you're already aware of what came up for you with this person. And then for them, we have redemption. Okay, maybe you guys might reconcile. At first I was thinking no, but I think there's that potential here. All right, so let's see. I think that both of you guys are definitely still processing through some disappointments here, with the 5 of Cups coming up as the joining energy. And with clingy, this says holding on and won't let go. So I think it's probably likely that the 2 of you at this particular moment in time, I don't necessarily see anyone rushing in here to reconnect or to communicate, but I think that both of you are still processing through or maybe holding on a little bit to whatever happened in the past. And with that clingy energy, I don't think either one of you fully has let it go, nor do I think either one of you has fully let the other one go, even though there's some clear sort of processing going on at this time. You, my viewer, have the Hermit and healing. This says inner child, shadow work, and introspection. So I think you guys have very much pulled back your energy and you've pulled it within, right? I do think that a lot of you guys are reflecting on, you know, inner work or moving through, processing through inner work that you have done or need to do. That kind of came up as you experienced the connection with this person. And the beautiful thing about this Hermit that I'm noticing is the light that she is holding. And so it's like you're taking this time to reflect, restore yourself, work on your healing, work on your shadows. And all of that is going to help you guys to reemerge much more clear, illuminated, wise, right? You're going to have so much more clarity on like what happened in the situation, where maybe some of your triggers were coming from. And I think it's a really beautiful energy that you're in at this time. And you're not focusing so much on them, right? Like this Hermit, she's looking over here. She's looking in the past, right? So I think a lot of you guys are focusing on the past, whether it's with this person or other connections or experiences that you had in the past that caused the trigger, the trauma, whatever it was. For this person, we have the universe, which is the world. And then we also have redemption, needing forgiveness, redeeming oneself. So I think that they are acknowledging that there's been a conclusion here. Like they are acknowledging that there's something that's over, something has ended. A big chapter of their life has ended with this separation, right? But there is kind of this energy of them desiring to redeem themselves, because I feel like this person is really beating themselves up. Like, I don't know the situation, group 3s. Everyone's going to be different out there. Maybe this person was terrible. I don't know. But like when I read their energy, I feel somebody who really wanted to do their best. And I feel like they really wanted to be stable for you. And they feel like they weren't successful in that. And I think that they also are acknowledging that they made mistakes and wish they would have done things differently. And they're beating themselves up about it, right? And I think they want your forgiveness. I think they need to forgive themselves. But I think there's also this desire to like redeem themselves. And that's kind of where this what if is coming from, this imagined futures. I think they're thinking a lot about like, what could I do differently? Or what should I have done differently? How could I redeem myself in pile 3's eyes after whatever we went through? Okay. So let's continue. Group 3. Will they reconcile? As the energy stands today. Okay, so we do have the energy of self-care. Clear your energy field and focus on yourself before acting. So I think right now the immediate answer is probably no, because I think that both people, like you, my viewer, are working on your healing. This person is conducting some self-reflection, right? Right now, both of you are focusing on yourselves. And I think that needs to happen before you could come back together in a more healthy way. For you, my viewer, we have spiritual lesson. This person is in your life to teach you a spiritual lesson with awakening. I feel like something about this connection really pushed you guys into this healing that you're going through right now, right? Like they, whatever you experience, it was very uncomfortable, and they're pushing you to go within and to confront those things. Okay, and let's get this person. We have different pages. You and this person don't share the same vision. Okay. And then we do also have obstacles. Unhealed wounds are blocking forward movement. So this person also has their own healing work that I think that they need to do as well. So I think they're acknowledging that this is over. I think they're acknowledging that a chapter has ended. They're acknowledging that the two of you may not be on the same page, but I think there's still some rumination over like, what if I did this differently? What if I tried that differently? I do think there's still this desire for forgiveness, redemption. But let's see. Will they reconcile? Holy Spirit. We do have phone call, FaceTime, and video chat. Interesting. And there's a little breadcrumb here. So I feel like there's something coming. We have respecting tradition and values on your end. And then we have ending it. Yep. And then we do have minimal. So you guys are the only one that had like a more clear indication of something actually happening soon. Most of the readings, including yours to an extent, were kind of like, yes, it will happen under certain circumstances first, right? Like if certain circumstances aligned first, basically. But for you guys, I definitely feel like there is something coming, communication specifically. I think that there's some sort of phone call or FaceTime coming soon where the two of you are going to get to talk, maybe talk about what happened. Maybe this person wants to apologize to you for something. But I think ultimately it looks like this person is acknowledging that there's an ending, like they're ending this. And if they have already ended it, I think that maybe there's one more last phone call coming to kind of close things out. But you are in this space of like, respecting your own values, respecting what it is that you need to do, respecting whatever this person says. And I feel like they have respect for you as well, group 3. Like this doesn't feel like a chaotic, like toxic breakup. I think that when you guys do come back together, you're in a very respectful place, respecting their position, respecting their thoughts, their views, whatever. Maybe this person coming back around, like I feel like they're going to be the ones that initiate communication, right? I feel like they're going to initiate some sort of conversation with you that's going to provide closure to the situation. And I think for them, they're ending it because they see the two of you are just like not on the same page. But it's also like this call is an opportunity for them to kind of do the honorable thing or redeem themselves or apologize to you in some way. But it's small, right? With that breadcrumb energy and with minimal, it's going to be small. This is not like continuous effort. It feels like more of a closure conversation. Okay. So now group 3, we're going to look at when you're likely to reconcile. So I feel like the answer here is yes. I think you guys will reconcile. I think you will talk about whatever went wrong here. And then I think that you guys will go your separate ways. What I'm going to do is to get the timeline for you. We're going to do a little mini pick a card here where I'm going to do 3 cards. So pick the one you're the most drawn to, and that will reflect your timeline for reconciliation with your person. So here's card number 1. Here's card number 2. card number 3. Let's go ahead and pick the card you're most guided to pick, and then this will reflect your timeline to reconcile. All right, so card 1, we have the month of April, okay? So a little further off in time. Card 2, we do have November. So as I'm uploading this reading, it is November, so that could be coming up quite soon for some of you. And then for card 3, we have eclipse. So I think the next big eclipse is in Pisces season, if I'm not mistaken, or like February timeline. So around an eclipse, the next eclipse would be significant to when you guys would connect with this person. And then we do have 6 to 12 weeks at the bottom, so that could also inform as to when the eclipse is happening. So this is what I see for you, group 3. Comment below. Let me know a little bit about what's been happening between you and your person. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next reading soon. Bye.